Have you ever felt like if it ain't one thing, it's another? Opportunities drying up, doors closing, relationships ending, might be a little stale. Spiritually, you feel a little stuck. It seems like nothing ain't happening. Nothing is changing. It's still the same thing. But what if I told you something is happening? What if what's happening is a season of preparation? What if God is using this season that you're in to prune you and to prepare you for the fruitfulness of your next season? When you read the Old Testament of the Bible, the sons of Issachar, during their generation, they were the most wisest men. And the reason why is because the Bible says they understood the seasons and the times. One of the most unwisest positions you can be in is a position where you don't understand your season and you don't understand your time. Because what can happen is you end up missing what God is doing. And that's why I want to have this conversation. 3 signs that God just might be pruning you. Let's read John 15, and we're going to start at verse 1. Here in John 15, we got Jesus is talking, and he's talking to his disciples, and he says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. God the Father, as the gardener, cuts off every branch in Jesus that bears no fruit, while every branch in Jesus that bears fruit, he prunes, that he is the true vine, the vine in which the fruit grows off of. And he's looking at his disciples and he's saying, but y'all the branch. And when you read the rest of John 15, he said, remain in me and I'm going to remain in you. You cannot bear fruit, good fruit, outside of Jesus. And so Jesus is encouraging his disciples before he leaves to go to the cross. He is encouraging them, remain in me and I'm going to remain in you. The importance of understanding when you're at a season of being pruned as a disciple, as a follower of Jesus, as somebody who has taken on their identity in Christ, you have to understand the perspective of the gardener. And the gardener is God. You can't view your season from the season of the branch. You have to view the season that you're in from the perspective of the gardener. Because how can the branch tell the gardener, well, this season I'm supposed to be here, but by this time already I'm supposed to have this and I'm supposed to be fruitful in this area? When you just a branch, you're not the gardener. But we end up missing what God, the gardener, is doing in our life because we don't know how to view from his perspective. But as a branch, you must understand that there is a time and there is a season. So if we're looking from the perspective of the gardener, we must understand, what does it mean to prune? To prune in Greek means to cleanse or to purify. And most of the time, pruning happens to redirect the energy so that the gardener can help promote growth and proper fruiting. Pruning occurs because of one or two things. The gardener decides to prune during a season of dormancy or during a season where it's winter, basically. The gardener may decide to prune during a season of fruitfulness and to avoid different diseases and parasites and the good fruit going bad. The gardener will go and prune the tree, cut off things that don't need to be. And so the first sign that God may be pruning you is that you find yourself in a season of dormancy. Dormancy is usually during a season of inactiveness where the tree or the plant is not bearing fruit because it may be winter. And so the environment and the condition in which it is in, it does not allow fruitfulness. And even though during this time you won't see fruitfulness, the plant or the tree or the vine is still able to survive. To be at a season of dormancy is very dry. It's very isolated. It's very cold. Most gardeners prune their vineyard and they prune during the season of dormancy because during this time, the plant or the tree or the branches, they're at a season of being inactive. You at a season of being inactive. God just might be pruning you because it's during this time that gardeners know, when I prune during the season of dormancy, not only am I able to get rid of and to see clearer because there's no fruit on the tree, but during this time, the gardener is helping conserve the energy. And the reason why it's important to conserve the energy is because it prepares for growth in the next season. While you thinking you're at a season of just dormancy, is no growth, is no fruitfulness, what God is doing is God is capacitating you for your next season of growth. And this is beyond growth in your dreams and growth in your aspirations and growth in your gifts. Jesus said, so that you may bear fruit of his spirit and more fruit. When you begin to bear fruit of the spirit, you begin to bear fruit in other areas. Yet the main fruit that Jesus is talking about is the fruit of his spirit. If you find yourself in a season of dormancy, what God is doing, God is capacitating you during your season of inactiveness, during your season where you think you should be at a certain place and you're not there yet. God is conserving you and he's preparing you for your next season. Yet if you don't understand the time that you're in, you're going to misinterpret your season. And you're going to find yourself behaving in a way that God didn't even call you to behave, doing things that God didn't even told you to do, planting seeds, operating, and then calling it fruitful, and then calling it his grace. And instead of submitting to what the garden is doing, you try to make your season happen for you. And then when it don't turn out how you expect it to turn out, we kind of blame God. But is it God or is it you not knowing season? And so if you finding yourself in a season of dormancy, God just might be pruning you to prepare you for your next season so that you can be even more fruitful than your last. The second sign is you're experiencing removal and loss. And it also may feel like you're being pulled every which way. Loss involves the process of losing something or someone. During this time, you feel that people are just leaving you left and right. You feel isolated. God is dealing with things that's been in you and harboring in you. He's placing you around people who is bringing this out and pulling this out. And some people may say, well, they just trigger me. No, it's God. God may be pruning you to deal with it in this season, to deal with that unforgiveness in this season, so that he brings you around people in which you need to forgive, in which you need to love and have patience with, and to show kindness and gentleness with, so that in your next season, when he give you more fruit and he brings more people to feed off of what he is doing in your life, you don't hurt them and feed them trauma. And so you finding removal of things. I don't have as much as I used to have. I'm not doing as much as I'm used to doing. My friends ain't hanging around me like they used to hang and be around me. And this goes back to understanding the perspective of the gardener. In order for the branches to be trained and to have structure, they must be pruned. Not only are they to be pruned, but what happens is the gardener begins to tie them. It's going to be a season of tying so that when the vine grows over the branch, it grows in the direction in which the gardener wants it to grow. It also helps control the amount of growth when pruning and tying happens for the branches so that the vine can grow over it. So if you're finding yourself, you're dealing with, you just feel like your hands tied, there's nothing else you can do. It just feel like you're losing a sense of who you were. Things are just dying and things are being removed. God may be tying you up and pruning you. It may even feel like it's a season of people trying you and your hands tied. You're not even operating how you used to. And then it's just something in you, because I had that season too, where something in you is trying to convince you that you're weak. Where is your God? The enemy try to get you. Where is your God? When they trying you and they do. But what is happening is my God is the gardener, and he is tying you and pruning you to give you structure, to give you identity. And so them branches and these people may be growing in that direction, but God is tying you up so that you can form and conform to who he is. So that when people see you in your next season, they gonna know you by your fruit. And when they taste and see what is growing from your branch because of the vine that's attached to you, the vine of Jesus Christ, then you're going to see a lot of people bowing down and worshiping your God. You're going to see a lot of people coming up to you asking you for forgiveness because you understand that this season, a time of renewal, with your hands tied and you feel like a little lost, God is dealing with you. The last and third sign that God may just be pruning, you're dealing with a lot of conviction that is leading to change. Jesus said in John 15, he said, you have already been cleaned by the words that I've spoken. And so when you are hearing the word, when you've been reading the word and you're being cleansed in the word, you finding yourself feeling conviction, not to condemn you, but to transform you. Because the thing about pruning is there can be a lot of crowding. There are things that can be in the vineyard that can hinder growth. And the gardener knows because the gardener sees all. And so when God is convicting you, it not only reveals how much he loves you, because the word says that the Father corrects those he loves. And so it reveals God's love for you, but it also reveals that he is cleaning you and he is changing you. And sometimes it don't feel good. I'm being real. There have been things this season that God has convicted me of to cleanse me and to renew me, and it ain't felt good. because it's much easier to point the finger and blame it and put it on everybody else. Until God showed you you. God is trying to bring you into his love. Jesus said, remain. When you remain in me and I will remain in you. Then he goes on to say, remain in my love and love each other. Remain in them the same way that I loved you. Love other people. In this season that God is dealing with you more than he dealing with your enemies. God is dealing with you more than he dealing with people that talked about you. God is dealing with you more than he dealing with whoever you want God to deal with. God said, but you are my branch. And Jesus said, and I am the true vine. And in order for you to bear more fruit in your next season, in order for you to be capacitated, I have to prune you. I have to convict you. I have to cut you. You have to be cut at heart, because where there is a cut heart, there is a possibility of change, but you have to go through the process. This is your season to just abide in his love and trust that what he's doing in this season is for the fruitfulness of your next season. It's beyond the giftedness. It's beyond the finances, all this other stuff that people will preach and teach. But what it's about is you bearing much fruit, and the fruit is his spirit and his image. So that when people see you, they know who your God is because of the fruit that's growing off of your life. Don't get hyped up either. Don't get caught up in the hype where you can see other people being fruitful and you may not be at that season of fruitfulness, and you start to question what God is doing through you. And so don't get caught up in the hype. But just because they're in their season, it does not mean that it's your season and it's your time. And it might come a season in time where it's going to be their down season and their season to be pruned and your season of fruitfulness and growth. But whatever season that you find yourself in, trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all of your ways, and he will straighten your path. He will give you wisdom and knowledge so that you can understand the times and the seasons. Because one thing about pruning, even though I named 3 signs that God just might be pruning you, pruning is something that happens often. In this walk with the Lord, I'll be lying to you to say that eventually pruning going to stop and it's never going to happen again. No, you're going to always have to go through pruning. Pruning is a process. It's a revolving process. And those who have gardens and those who have vineyards understand that it's 2 main times that you're going to prune, when there is growth and when there's dormancy. And so sometimes you might just be getting pruned during your season of fruitfulness, or your season of growth, so that God can bear and bring forth more fruit in you. And you might be getting pruned during a season where it's inactivity, ain't no growth, ain't no fruit, ain't nothing happening. But what's beautiful about both seasons is that no matter what season you may find yourself in this season, the gardener is present. His presence is there. That is the most beautiful and most rewarding thing about being pruned. And so don't look at it as God is punishing you. God is using this season to birth out purpose in you so that for your next season, you are even more fruitful. If you're new here, my name is Kamia, and I would love for you to be a part of the fam. Like, subscribe, but most of all, share this video with somebody who you feel that needs it. And if it's the Lord's will, now, we're going to chop it up on the next conversation. Oh, yeah, and did I mention that I have free Bible study guides and my free Bible study notes down in the description box? Grab you a copy by clicking the link below. And also, don't be a stranger. Join the fam by subscribing and also hitting the notification bell so that you can be notified every Saturday at noon when I upload a new video.